Okay, we're going to make 1 loaf of white bread, which means we need 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1, 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of sugar, a half tablespoon of salt, half tablespoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of butter softened. That'll soften up when I put the lukewarm water in there. 1 tablespoon of milk. 1 tablespoon of milk. 3/4 cup of lukewarm water. 3/4 cup lukewarm water. And 1 teaspoon of active dry yeast. Level it off, get it into the water. And now we let that mixture sit for 5 minutes, and we'll start to knead the dough. 5 minutes has transpired, so now we'll start working the dough. Get it all incorporated in there. And we'll be able to get our hands on it here in a minute. This is King Arthur unbleached flour, the white variety. I think we can get the spoon out of there now. Warm it up. Oh, that butter is not incorporating very well. I'm going to work this until it gets really smooth. Once all of the little scraps are incorporated in, then I'll put it on the counter with a little bit of flour. It's feeling good. It's feeling like it should feel. You put a little bit of flour on the counter here. Got some flour on the counter and a little bit on the hands. So put this on there. Move all this stuff to the side. And now we can just keep working the flour. So I'll work this until it gets smooth. It could take another 8 to 10 minutes, and then I'll let it rest in the bowl. I'll grease the bowl and let it rest in the bowl for about 45 minutes. Then I'll take it out of there and put it into the bread pan and let it rest until it rises. It usually takes about an hour, but I'll let it rise to a good size. It'll rise a little bit as it cooks, but I like to let it rise as much as it can. Don't want to let it rise too much or it could collapse. Okay, I've worked the dough for the first time. Now I'm going to put some butter in the bowl here. Just grease it up. Make it easier for the dough to rise. Get the bowl greased up. There's the dough. Looking good. Look at that. Yeah! So I'm going to put this into a ball. Nice little dough ball there. Plop it in here. And I'm going to let it rise for 45 minutes. I'll come back and check it, smash it again, and then put it into the pan that's going to stay in. So put dish over there, and we'll just let it sit 45 minutes. Give it a second kneading and put it into its final bread pan, and then put it in the preheated oven. Okay, I've let the bread dough rise for an hour. So we will see. It's risen some. We'll beat that down. Well, I've let the bread dough rise for an hour. So we'll beat that down and we'll put it into the pan here and let it rise for another hour. Get my hands nice and dry. Pull that out of there. A little bit of flour. Drop it down on there. Squeeze all the air out of it. So I will knead this for another few minutes and then put it into the pan. Okay, I've greased the bread pan. It's greased. I work the dough so that it's in a loaf shape. And I'm going to plop that in here. And we'll let it rise for, we'll check back in on it in 50 minutes. But it'll probably take about an hour and 15 minutes if it's anything like it was last time. And we'll see. If I did it right, it will fill this whole thing up and actually come up a little bit. Then we'll put it in the preheated oven. The dough is now in the oven. In the baking pan, I did run into a little issue when I've kneaded it 3 times, but it has to be at least room temperature because it wasn't rising at all. And when I felt it, it was very cold. So I put it in this oven and I kind of turned the heat just to the minimum. And as soon as it got warm enough, it actually started to rise like it should. But I was ready to abandon hope, which wasn't necessary. So now I'm going to turn it to 350. And I'm going to crank it up. And I'm going to let it bake. So in probably, I'm going to let it go for 20 minutes and then check it. Because I need to make sure that the center gets cooked really well. So in probably about 20 minutes, I'm going to come back and check it again. And if it's not done then, I'm going to let it go for another 10 minutes. And then I will be turning the video back on again and showing you the product. So hang in there. Well, the timer has gone off, so that means that the bread should be done. I left it in there extra long this time because I had an issue with the last loaf of bread I did. So let me bring this out. Ah, yes. Looks good. Check the bottom of it real quick. Oh yeah. So I'll just let this rest up here on top of the oven. When it cools off, it'll be delicious. Home-baked bread. Here's the final bread loaf after it is rested. I think it's about the same size as a normal loaf of bread that you'd get at the store. It looks about the right size, so let's cut into it and see how the center of it is. Ooh, it's cutting really nice. I think we got it. Oh yeah. It actually still feels a little spongy. Let's see here. I don't know. I think it'll be okay, but I'm using a toaster oven. I think what I'm going to need to do is use the main oven because I think it gets too cooked on the outside. But I'm happy with that loaf. It smells great. I think I'll make a piece of toast real quick. Put this in the toaster. The toast has popped up, so I'll put a little bit of butter on it. Butter's not soft enough here. It's destroying the structural integrity of the bread. It's been pretty chilly here in Florida this way, so we got that, and then we will put some orange marmalade on it. Never did used to like this when I was little, but because it had that bitter orange rind flavor in it. But now I like it very much. Okay, and now we need to taste it. So here's our piece of toast. Butter and orange marmalade, and we'll see if the homemade bread turned out well. It's nice and crunchy. Very good. I'm going to call that a complete success. Thank you for watching.